This is our Civic Type R, and this thing is just ridiculous. This is the type of car I think I would draw as a little kid, where all the factors here are just huge and accentuated and exaggerated. You got these massive grills up front. You've got these massive wheel arches. You've got aero all over the place, which Honda does claim is completely functional. But it's just a great little car that is maybe the car of your dreams you didn't know you wanted. So I would say the first thing, if you're a normal person, when you look at this car, the first thing you're gonna notice is aero stuff. We've got massive splitters with winglets. We've got side skirts with big winglets. We've got, if you're not blind, a huge wing on the back. It's got vortex generators, which Honda does claim actually work. Honda claims that this system creates a curtain of air that wraps around these massive 20-inch wheels, which are also tucked in. These front wheel arches are a little over 3 inches wider than a regular Civic. Then the air continues down the sides through these channels, if you will, with winglets at the end of the side skirts that get air around the rear wheels as well. And then back on this massive wing, Honda claims it creates 66 pounds of downforce at 124 miles an hour. I'm wondering if it weighs 66 pounds. I'm not sure about that, but all of this is just childhood fantasy car to me. It's just big and obnoxious in a good way. You've got a big air scoop, hood scoop there. The seats are ridiculous. The interior is kind of gaudy, but it's all in like this cool childhood exciting way where you get to enjoy the car. It's really exciting. It's got a stout little 2-liter turbo that makes 306 horsepower from the factory. And with a tune, you can make up to 15% more. Similar to childhood fantasy cars, this one doesn't always translate super well into reality. And the first case, we have massive 20-inch wheels up front with a Series 30 tire that is a little rubber band, and they're known for being bent. They're also tucked further inside the wheel arch, probably further than any other car I've seen. So that is one of the first things we would like to address, is to throw a set of wheels on this. A lot of guys go with a 19 or even an 18 with a little meatier tire, which is performing better, and it also is going to look better. We'd like to set the car down probably on a set of springs, because this car does have active suspension that you can actually feel a difference in. So we can just throw a set of springs on that factory suspension, bring the ride height down, get it setting a little more aggressive, just with these wheels tucked way back in. It's just one of my least favorite things about the car. Another thing that's not super practical is going to be the seats. They look amazing, but when you're getting in and out of this as a daily driver, you've got a bolster that's about 6 inches high. They are soft, so you can slide across them pretty well, but it's just one of those things where if you're a car guy, you don't want to tear up your bolsters, but at the same time, you can't always crane yourself and drop yourself down into the seat. Probably my biggest gripe about this car after driving it for a few weeks is the fuel range. It does seem to have a rather small fuel cell, and even driving conservatively and making around 30 miles a gallon, I've yet to cross 300 miles on a single tank. So we may have to put a hitch on this, pull around a little fuel cell trailer on our long trips. But if that's your biggest gripe about a car, that's a performance car that you get to have fun with, not too bad of a deal. But I would say those factors aren't enough to discredit this as a great daily driver with some spirited driving in mind as well. I believe this thing set a couple records at the Nürburgring, and it's just really a great performance car that you're also going to get a lot of good daily use out of it. And like many cars do, we actually didn't search this car out, it kind of found us. And so we had just finished developing one of our gauges for the 10th gen Civic platform, and a good friend of P3 actually was looking to move out of this car, and for the right deal, we couldn't say no, and here it is. So we're really excited to add this to the P3 fleet. We're excited to have a new product line in the Honda world. We have not been in a Honda market before, but our gauge just adds a few nice little features to this interior where it is a techie car. It's got a lot of gauges, it's got a lot of gadgets, but a lot of those screens you have to dedicate your entire cluster to one set. So now we can have our gauge off to the side reading a lot of different parameters dedicated to bringing you the information you're looking for, especially if you're tuning, especially if you're modding. And so we can read and clear codes, we can read EGTs, intake air temps, we can read boost and vacuum, both from the charge pipe and from the intake map sensor. You just have a lot of capabilities in a nice tight little package that is OEM plus looking. It looks like the factory brought it there. So that's the big thing we go for, is integration. We want our gauge to look and match the interior. Another really cool feature on this car are the different driving modes. And sometimes that seems kind of gimmicky, but on this car, I feel like I can actually feel quite a big difference in steering, suspension, and throttle response. They give you 3 different stages. You have a comfort mode where you have a softer suspension, a slower steering. You have a sport mode, which is kind of in the middle, but then you have the R mode. And in that mode, you can actually feel like a really big difference in your throttle response. Your suspension is all stiffened up and your steering is really quick and really tight. And it's kind of cool just being able to hit a switch and you watch your whole cluster change over to your race mode. One other area I would say this car might be a little bit lacking in is the exhaust. If you're a performance enthusiast and you're looking for that nice, rough tone, this one might be a little too refined. It is very quiet, which is very nice for daily driving. No drone, it's not annoying. It's very well refined, but it's also very tame. So that may be another item that we upgrade in the near future. In the end, we're really excited to get into the Honda market and bring you a gauge for this very popular car. And we're looking forward to see what we can do with this. We do work with a couple other companies that make lots of parts for these. So we've got big plans for this car. It's already just such a great foundation to start with, and we will see where we go from here. So I want to give you guys a big thank you if you're still watching. We're excited about this new Type R, and we want to remind you that you can get a gauge for your Civic or the other 80+ models we support at p3cars.com. Please like, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends so they can find out about us, and hit that notification bell so you can see new videos that we have coming out. We really appreciate you guys watching. See you in the next one.